Hey guys, how's it going? Octopus here. Welcome back to Union Cross. We're going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts 3 Supernova Plus Axel that just came out. These names are getting ridiculously long, but this is actually a really good medal. If you guys remember Elsa was incredible. She was a 5 Mercy pull, and we all pretty much thought because it was a collaboration, 5 Mercy, it wasn't going to happen again. Well, another medal came out just like her. 2-turn buffer, good buffs, and a 5 Mercy, but for speed, and it's Axel. It's Axel. I'm so excited about this. So, Axel, his banner, what does he do? He's the next Elsa for your speed setup. Now, banner-wise, this gets a huge pass to me. It's a 5 Mercy pull. You get 1 trait per pull, 10 VIP coins, which aka another trait, so you're getting 2 traits per pull. Out of 5 Mercy, that's a total of 10 traits if you 5 Mercy pull. If you get lucky, get out of there. Go to the Moogle shop and spend 1,000 jewels for another 10 traits. You get 2 gems per pull and 3 Kingdom Hearts 3 medals. So the banner is a pass. This is a beautiful banner. If you can spend 15,000 jewels or less on a medal and get traits for it, you're golden. It's like the point banner. If you pull the one you sell medals and you pull 1 medal per 100 points, if you get like Rage Form Sora, Elsa, any of the good medals, Sephiroth, you go to the Moogle shop. If you have no traits for it, you spend 15,000 on ground, aerial, and extra attack, and you have yourself a medal for 15,000 jewels with perfect traits. You can't go wrong for 15,000 jewels for a medal and traits. It's so good. So banner, great, perfect. Is the medal living up to it? Well, the medal, Axel looks amazing on this. Absolutely amazing. I'd just pay him for just Axel. But jokes aside, he is actually really good. Now, I'm going to show you guys a comparison to Elsa afterwards. This is everything over here in the Google Translate. Robolade and Eileen, thank you for the translations that you guys always do. The Google translations, kind of like, you can see it if you want to, but it's more of an eyeball. I want to keep Axel on the screen. Here's the multiplier. He costs 1 gauge, tier 10, strength of 40,229. He's got a multiplier of 64.47 to 79.34. You guys notice the difference already between him and Elsa? There's 2 different multipliers there. This is the part that kind of sucks, but it's all right at the same time. So, what does he do exactly? He is an AoE medal that buffs your speed strength for 2 turns. All these buffs are 2 turns. Your speed medal strength by 2,500. So with extra attack, that's 5,000 medal strength for just his cast. He buffs your upgrade attack by 15 tiers. So he has no general and no speed. For debuffs on the enemy, he debuffs the enemy's upright, general, and speed defense down by 15 tiers. So he's the complete opposite of Elsa. He has only 1 upright buff, but he's got all the debuffs. Now for the rest of his setup, it is different. So the whole 2-turning mechanic is very important, especially as a 5 Mercy pull medal, because we got medals like Ventus, the new Ventus, and Terra and Aqua. In this situation, Ventus is a speed, he's a speed medal, and his Supernova works really well with Ventus. So this is why this 2-turn buff is very important, because we're going to recast their Supernovas and carry over that Supernova for 2 turns, which is really, really good. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So the rest of his kit is not like Elsa. This is where they're different. So for his multiplier to be at 79.34, he has to have max HP, where Elsa doesn't. So it's easy to use Aqua in the beginning because you don't need a healer. Elsa will always do max damage, where if you use Ventus in the beginning, after turn 1, you're going to be at minimum HP, and he's going to get a multiplier of 64.47. So it's kind of harder to not use Naminé or Kairi or Xion in the beginning of your setup with this Axel compared to Elsa and Aqua. So that's one downfall, but it's not that bad. Now, he has something that Elsa doesn't. He restores 3 gauges. So unlike Elsa, where Elsa has to have SP gauge 0 to manage 3 turns without a buffer like Naminé, this guy restores 3 gauges. So him and Ventus working together works out beautifully. You don't have to worry about gauges or attack boost max SP gauge 0, because he only costs 1 gauge. So you throw attack boost 12 max or 11 max or 10 max, just that, nothing else attached to it. And it also works really well for rating because you don't have to worry about gauges. He takes care of all the gauges. So really good right there that he restores 3 gauges. Now the rest of his setup is that he does not affect enemies counters. No blue, no red. It won't go up and it won't go down. It stays exactly the way it is. So that's good and bad at the same time, depending on the situation and other medals on your Keyblade. Elsa will increase the medals enemies counter up by 1, where he doesn't affect it at all. So not bad. I actually prefer that in most situations. Now, here's where he's different. He's not a PvP metal. Elsa does the whole 30% defense through and reflects magic. He doesn't have none of that. What he has is a bit different, and he just makes the next metal to an AoE metal. So any single target or random metal that's after him will become an AoE metal. Now that's good and meh at the moment, because there's no real single target metals or random metals that we have that are speed that are going to be that interesting with him. And even if we do go mix him with power, there's Autie. I can't really think of anything else that's single target. There might be something else, but there's a very few selection that you would want to use currently, because everything that we've been getting has been AoE. But this might mark the future of metals to come out that will be single target and work really well with them. So don't pass on him, because that's all he does. That can turn out to be really, really good. So he has the ability of turning the next metal into AoE, and that's pretty much his whole kit. So kit-wise, he doesn't work as efficient as Elsa, but he's still really good for that 2-turn buffing. You just can't go without the heals. You need a way to heal them, unless that minimum damage is totally fine, and it doesn't matter because you're stacking so much AoE supernovas with him that it doesn't matter for Nominate being in the beginning. That's if you want to go for that setup. If you're going Nominate into a bunch of these guys, you don't have to worry about the HP thing. You'll always be full HP, so it doesn't matter. Now, supernova wise, it's a supernova plus, meaning if you face a magic enemy, you're doing max damage, multiplier 240, and here's where the good part is with Ventus. His supernova 2 turns plus 5,000 speed damage. So you cast him, if you have multiple copies of him, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, activate Ventus' supernova, restore all his supernovas, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. Let's say you have 3 copies of him, that's 30,000 strength just from his supernova and Ventus recasting that. And then on top of that, it carries over to turn 2. So turn 1 and turn 2, you have 30,000 speed strength just because of him. Incredibly good. And not only that, he, unlike Elsa where she has 280% guilt, he increases the guilt of all metals by 300%. So he's updated for that increased guilt as well. Now the rest of his buffs are pretty straightforward. Buffs your upright general speed attack by 15 tiers. That's where it's going to complement that he doesn't buff. So in his normal cast, he doesn't buff, but he debuffs the enemy. His supernova will give you all the buffs you need if you're not really working with a buffer or the enemy overwrites your buffs. So that's the opposite of Elsa. One does the debuffs on their supernova, the other one does the upright, and then their casts are totally different as well too. So the metal, really, really good. I say he's worth it. He's a 5 mercy pull. He's a 2-turn buffer. With the current Renova system going on right now, that is incredibly powerful. And yes, even if other metals come on in the future, he has 2-turn stacking. As for 1 turn, there will become something stronger than him for 1-turn stacking. You know what I mean? Like we have a bunch of quests right now, completed 1 turn, completed 1 turn. So 2-turn carrying over is not as important. So keep that in consideration, because all the hard quests they've been giving us have been saying, beat it in 1 turn if you want this reward, and all the Mickeys are connected, so you have to 1-turn it if you want to get all 3. So keep that in consideration. 2-turn stacking is very, very good. It all depends how they release the events, but in Coliseum, 2-turn stacking is incredible. PvP 2-turn stacking is incredible. It's all really, really good. No matter where you are, PvE, Coliseum, it's all really good. So solid metal. Now I'm going to show you an example of my Keyblade setup currently in game right now for my Elsa setup, and an example of what the Axel setup will look like. So for me personally, my free-to-play count, I went for 3 of these metals, and it has not let me down. The situation, like I told you, Elsa has no requirement for her gauge. 18.60 is her max multiplier, always, no matter HP. And that's why Aqua is my buffer. Aqua does all the buffs, and then she has the Renova. If this was Dusk, this would be the perfect setup. As for my pet slot, another Elsa would work, but this works fine for me because it has extra attack 120, and it's got metal strength by 4,000, and it also has its buffs. It's not perfect, it's only at 37,000 strength, but it works really well for me. You guys can put anything there because Elsa changes the next metal into magic, so it doesn't matter. This setup will be forever good. As long as the next metal that comes out is always powerful, Elsa will always turn into a magic metal, meaning her supernova will always affect anything. So this, compared to Axel, I still think Elsa is the better metal, no HP requirement, and changes metals into magic metals, so no matter what, they work out. Now, when it comes to Axel's setup, Sleeping Lion, you kind of want the same thing. Now, obviously, it's my global count, and Axel's not out yet, so let's use our imagination. This is Axel. This is Axel. This is the recast Renova medal. And this is going to be Luke's sword copycat medal that copies backwards. And this is Rageform Sora. AKA you can use Lee over here if you want to copy Axel. But for this imagination, this is the perfect setup. Rageform Sora, Luke's sword copying backwards. Axel over here, and if you want an Axel over here. Or if you can, put a copy medal to copy forward. Now, in some situations, you might not have that benefit of doing that, and if you want to use him as your buffer, that's what you're going to do, but you are going to lose a little bit of strength trying to do all Axels, and this is only if you don't have other medals to go along with this. You might have a better speed medal to put here that does 2,500 strength increase, but he has the most. Axel has 2,500 and 5,000 for a supernova, so having even 3 copies and not copying him would be better. But in most situations, 30,000 jewels for 2 medals is enough. Spending 45,000 jewels for 3 medals, it's a very good medal. So I would say, yeah, go ahead if you have the jewels. But you can get away with that using copy medals. And even here, can be any copy medal you want. It doesn't have to be Rage Form. Just whatever copy medal that you have extra attack on, go for it. And for anyone that has this medal here, you can also do that. The only difference is that this medal does reverse medal strength, and that doesn't really help. So we're waiting for like more of like a reverse medal that does all medals. You know what I mean? Like Rage Form does all medals where it's still upright. So keep that in consideration as you're looking at this whole Keyblade setup. You could just put Angelic Amber to copy forward. If it's like Coliseum and you can't borrow friend, or any situation you can't borrow friend medal, then you'd want to put your new Axel over here, and you can copy him with Rage Form. And then you can put another Axel over here. So this would be Axel. That's Rage Form copying Axel. Here's Axel. Here's something copying forward, or whatever magic medal you want to put here, or Luke's sword copying backwards, and another Axel. So 3 Axels work in this situation as well. 1, 2, 1 the pet slot. 3, 3, it all works out no matter what. A good mixture. But if we're adding that buffer in the beginning, then you want to do something like this. For the heals, so you have max damage always. Nominate is not a bad idea. You can't recast her Nova, but it's not a bad idea. You put your extra Renova medal over here, which is Ventus. And then for this medal, you don't want to copy Ventus. You want to copy forward. So put a Rage Form Sora here if you want. You're going to lose a lot actually, strength. I have 6.788 over here compared to 8.0, but you get all those buffs, and then you can go Axel and another Rage Form here if you want to. Realistically, you can just push that forward and whatever you want over here. So that's the kind of situation you're looking at. This is the awkward spot. You got to find something, and it's not super awkward as long as you have this guy, because he copies 1, 2, 3, your pet slot. So that would be the perfect setup for Axel for certain situations. It all depends what medals come out from this point forward, but you can copy Axel. You can even go push forward and then put Axel over here if you just want 1 copy of Axel, and whatever medal you guys have for this slot here, you can put here. So 2 copies of Axels work like that. This is going to be Axel, or just 1 copy of Axel works out as well when you're using a buffer. So I would say 1 to 2 or 3 if you don't care about him losing his max multiplier, because you'll be stacking 3 times his strength from the supernova with Ventus and a friend Ventus. So you'll be recasting 3 Axels 2 times. It's a lot of stacking. You have 3 of your original, activate Ventus, another 3, activate another Ventus, another 3. You've got 45,000 strength stacked just from 3 medals for 2 turns. And then you got their cast of 2,500. So just like Elsa, it works out really, really good. Let go of those jewels. New things can come out, don't get me wrong, but ever since Elsa came out, I have not had an issue with my magic setups at all, period. Now, Leviathan, reverse, makes you want to save for reverse medals, so keep that in mind. But that's Axel's, guys. If you're going for them, let me know. I'm going for them. Both accounts, I've got the jewels saved up. I'm going for at least 1 copy, fool around with it for a bit, and then I'll think about the second copy, because I also have to get my hands on a Ventus. If you don't get your hands on a Ventus for the Renova, he still works out really good. Huge supernova, huge buffs, 2 turns, even without the extra Renova cast. that you currently don't have, you'll probably get in the future, or a new buffer will have recast for every kind of metal, and then they will become very, very versatile on so many Keyblade setups. So just keep that in mind, guys. That is Axel. Let me know what you're doing. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit the like button. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Keep on smiling, and I'll smell you later.